been meaning to I've been meaning to make a video about this. I don't typically do this kind of stuff, but every time I see a Sprint commercial, I get so frustrated because all I hear is just them lying. But let me tell you why before you assume I'm just like a disgruntled customer or something like that. I had been with Verizon for about, I don't know, since when it was Alltel, so a very long time I'd been with Verizon, and I decided to switch because I thought I was paying more than I needed to, and so I felt like why should I pay more when there are other companies out there that are offering unlimited data but for less? So it sounded just very tempting. So I switched to Sprint, and they even offered to pay off my cancellation fees, which they did. And very early on, I already started having issues with my internet service. So very quickly on, I ended up getting lost a couple times because I would use Google Maps. I like to use Google Maps to get from point A to B sometimes, and the internet connection would stop working. And this happened a lot. It was kind of weird how often it would happen. It wasn't like a one-off. It was like it got to a point where I said to myself, maybe I need to buy one of those Garmins or something. And I thought, what the F? Like, why would I spend money on a Garmin when I'm spending money on internet service and I have this free app I can use? That's so stupid. Why would I spend more on a Garmin when I'm supposed to be able to rely on my cell phone? So that was very frustrating. That was like my first cue that something was very off, and I shouldn't even be having these thoughts. I should just have service that works, because that's what they promised me. They promised me to give me unlimited data. Well, unlimited data is useless if it doesn't work. So it's really like, I don't know, like I don't know. It's kind of like saying, I'll sell you one car for X amount of dollars. That's Verizon, let's say. And then you got another dealer that says, I'll sell you 100 cars, and I'll sell them to you for like way less. Well, if every single one of those cars doesn't drive, it's completely pointless to spend any of the money at that other dealership. You might as well just buy the one car and, drive that around, and pay a little bit more. So anyway, what ended up happening was I did call technical support many, many times. And I don't know where they get these people from technical support. If I were to guess, I would say maybe they go to like these like dark alleys where people are like homeless and on drugs or something. And the only requirement that they need in order to like recruit them to work technical support is that they've seen a cell phone. They've seen a cell phone, they know what a cell phone looks like, and then with absolutely what appears to be no training, they just throw them on the floor and say, here, go ahead, start resolving people's issues. Because numerous times I would have to call technical support and say, hey, my internet's still not working. My internet is not working again. My internet's not working yet again. This was a constant recurring theme. And so every time they would talk me through all this stuff, say that they're sending me all these signals, blah, blah, blah. But the reality is it still didn't work later on when I was driving around or trying to accomplish anything. I can't tell you how frustrating it is. Even if you're paying less, it's just not worth it if you're not getting the service that you were promised. And so the technical support, one particular time, keep in mind, I'd been on the phone with technical support probably more often than I had been with my own mother. And one of the times, like, they're all laughable, but one particular time was really funny looking back. It wasn't funny at the time, but after spending over an hour on the phone with this technical support person, and I'm using my friend's phone because obviously when you're making changes on your phone, you're not supposed to be using that phone actually talking on that phone. So anyway, I used my friend's phone, and I'm basically monopolizing my friend's phone for like an hour. And during that time, the guy who was supposed to help me get internet access not only failed to get me internet access on my phone, but in addition somehow managed to turn off my capability of making outbound calls, receiving inbound calls, or making texts. So basically he made my phone completely worthless, and which was pretty much the service I got throughout Sprint in every area, whether it be customer service, technical support, or the use of my data. Speaking of technical support, that is a fun joke too in itself. You call customer service, and they say they'll give you some information, but it's wrong. And you find this out because then you call again and they're like, nope, that's not true. Well, that's what the other person said. And come to find that even though they're supposed to document the conversations that they have, I guess they just don't. They just don't document. They don't notate the conversations that they have, which is weird because I work in a customer service oriented field, and every time I get off the phone with somebody, I have to document on their file the conversation that we had, like the nature of the conversation, what they said, what I told them, things like that. And so it's really surprising to me that Sprint, a way larger company than the company I work for, doesn't feel like they have to do that. They don't hold their employees accountable to do that. So, for example, I called and I had wanted to cancel my contract, and I was told by the first customer service rep that it would be a $200 fee, which I was more than happy to pay because the service was so pathetic and worthless that it's like an investment to just pay the $200 to be rid of them. Anyway, just to make sure, I called again. I spoke to another person who told me the same thing. Come to find, when I received my $600 bill that I owe $600, I call in and say, well, I was told by two different people that it was $200 to cancel. Well, there's no notes of this, so it didn't happen. Really? Because there's no notes, it didn't happen? It happened. Just because the employees were too lazy to put in notes doesn't necessarily mean that it didn't happen. It happened. Now, here's the problem. And this is what I think Sprint really counts on, is they can lie to you in the commercials, they can lie to you at those kiosks where they sell you the services, but then what are you going to do when it comes time for them to deliver and they don't? What are you going to do, sue them? Who has the money to hire an attorney to sue them? Who? I don't have the money to sue Sprint. Sprint's a big company. I can't take them on by myself. What am I going to do? Try to find a way to do a class action lawsuit so that I could get my money back for the services that they claimed that they were going to sell me, which they did not deliver on? Maybe, but I don't know how to do that. So at the end of the day, I really don't have any recourse. I'm just kind of stuck having to pay off that $600 balance that they decided arbitrarily to charge me, and I have absolutely no recourse. So now, I'm one of those people that I like to learn from my experiences, which is unfortunate sometimes, like with this whole situation with Sprint. You're welcome to try Sprint and sign up for another 2-year contract. By the way, they'll sometimes lie to you and tell you that you're on a month-to-month. There is no month-to-month. That's what happened to me. You are not month-to-month. If you sign up, you are signing up for at least 2 years. Just know that, because that's another way that they lie to you and get you. And again, no recourse. So, basically, if I were to do this over again, and if I were to watch someone give a message like this, like the one I'm giving, maybe perhaps I wouldn't make the same mistake that I made. I'm hoping by explaining this situation, explaining what happened to me, that would deter some other people the headache and the financial repercussions of making the huge mistake that is going to Sprint. However, it's your call at the end of the day. You can be like me and insist on making your own mistakes and learning the hard way. Or you can just say, look, if everybody's going to Sprint, or if everybody's going to Verizon or some other company other than Sprint, there's probably a reason. Because they're lying. They lie in those commercials about offering you all these unlimited services. That's not real. And they lie about services in general. Basically, I'm wondering what they do tell the truth about. I don't know. Anyway, long story short, do not get Sprint unless you really, really have an extra like $600 lying around, or you have the patience to spend 2 years of having no service and paying for it. But otherwise, I wouldn't recommend it. I strongly, strongly discourage going to Sprint. It is a complete waste of money, and it is a complete waste of your mental aggravation. Like, there's no need to put yourself through that mental aggravation of going to Sprint.